Hi, welcome to Motorhome Specialist. I'm Nolan Abana, General Sales Manager, and today I'm here with Brian LaPrey, our representation for Entegra Motor Coach.
Hello everybody, nice to see you again. Nolan and I here, we're going to talk about the Anthem today. I think I was here 3 or 4 months ago and we talked about an Aspire. So one of the questions I get asked all the time is, what's the difference between an Anthem and an Aspire? And there are many, so we're going to talk about those today to help you make an informed decision about why you might want to buy an Anthem instead of an Aspire.
Awesome. Let's get to it.
All right. So some of the things that are interesting about an Anthem versus an Aspire. I always tell people when I'm talking about the two, I kind of compare it to maybe a Ford and a Lincoln. The Aspire is a Ford, an Anthem is a Lincoln. It's just got more bells and whistles. So if we move around to the front here, we'll talk about a couple of different things. One of the first things you'll notice when you're looking at the front of an Anthem is this little black piece down here. That's actually covering up the radar detector because an Anthem has adaptive cruise control and collision mitigation, which is not available on the Aspire. A lot of people like that because it's a safety feature. And we know in motorhomes, everybody's looking for all the safety features that they can get. So that adaptive cruise control and collision mitigation is really nice because it will brake before you can actually react. If somebody pulls in front of you, maybe a deer ran in front of you, that's going to brake before you actually have time to react. So I always tell people, make sure you're wearing your seatbelt because it will put the brakes on. But then that adaptive cruise control, I know we all love it in our car. So in our motorhome, it works the same way. It's going to slow us down. So that's a big deal. The other thing that you can't see here, but behind this generator cover, this Anthem has a 12,500 watt generator instead of a 10,000 watt generator. So that just gives it more power. It's basically the equivalent of roughly 60 amps of shore power, where a 10,000 is only going to give you about 45 amps of shore power. Either one will work, all 3 ACs, but the Anthem's just not going to work quite as hard.
Gotcha.
If we come around to the side here, you're going to see this also has the stainless steel package on the side. That's not available on Aspire. It doesn't have it. And then the other thing, it's hard to notice here, but I've got a bigger front axle on that Anthem. So instead of 17,000 pounds, it's a 20,000 pound front axle. That's going to give you a better ride because those tires are absolutely huge. You're going to get 365s instead of 315s. And we all know, kind of like those luxury cars always have bigger tires. Why? It's just going to give you a better ride. So I've got bigger tires on the front and bigger tires on the back. So I go from 315s and 295s on an Aspire to 365s and 315s on the back. So that's going to give us a better ride. If we go back to this first storage bay, I also get something here on this Anthem that is not available on Aspire. I get, as a standard feature, this is the exterior fridge freezer. And I can either have fridge, freezer, fridge, freezer, fridge, or freezer on both of them. And it's pretty cool. It works. It's on a not a power tray, but a slide out tray, so I can move that in and out. You can actually move it all the way out here, so you've got easy access to that fridge or freezer.
And these things are awesome. I have one.
They are. They are great. This is where you keep your favorite beverage. So instead of having to go inside to the fridge, you can just keep those cold drinks here. If you're taking it out and going fishing, you can freeze the salmon, halibut, just have it right there.
Yeah, and you got kids, so you want to keep them from going in and out of the coach 100 times a day, getting a sandwich or snacks, so you can just keep it all right
Exactly.
here. Yeah.
One of the other unique things that you're going to get in an Anthem is these are power storage trays. So they are pretty cool. Now an Aspire would just have one manual storage tray. The Anthem has 2 power storage trays. So I just need to push the button. Those will come out, and these hold a lot of weight each. I think they're 700 pounds. A nice thing that I can do is I can also drop that down. So instead of having to pick my stuff up and lift it over the lip like I do on an Aspire, I can just slide them in, and then I put it down here. You'll notice this piece right here.
Yeah, what is that?
This is kind of unique for us. You'll notice when we go inside that there is no screen in the door.
Right.
Because we want people to view the IMAX view of America and not have to look out the passenger look out that window and see screen. So here's the screen. It's actually removable, super easy to put in and out, and we actually just have that in the basement because we know when you're driving down the road, the last thing you want to do is look out a screen door. So we just put that there in that nice cover. Then I can just power this back in. It goes in on the power as well. One thing we changed for 26 is we put this sound bar back in the coach so it actually moves with us. In the 25s, there were 2 speakers back here, so if you turned the TV the sound didn't go with you. So that's something we changed, and this also is
we did talk about that. Yeah,
big deal.
And
so
I was noticing as we were walking by, in the Aspire, you see these little hooks on the outside, right? Above the windows, and you don't see that on the Anthem.
One of the things we probably didn't talk about last time too is this actually is pretty tall.
Yeah.
So we've got this hidden little
bar there,
bar here to grab that handle and push it down.
For us that are vertically challenged, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it just clips right in here. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
So these are power window awnings in the Anthem, where the Aspire, they're manual. You got to reach in and pull them down.
Yeah.
And an Anthem also has 5 colors on the outside of that paint package instead of just 4. Okay. So here we've got white, dark gray, light gray, blue, and black. So this one actually has 5 colors instead of 4.
Nice.
So that's pretty nice. Let's walk around to the other side and we'll talk about some other differences that we've got here. Now, before we move around, this is also on the Freightliner chassis. So it has the Ultra Steer tag axle here. If it were on a Spartan, it would just have the fixed tag. But since this is on a Freightliner like the Aspire was, this one's going to have that Ultra Steer. So that's a nice feature to have. Right. When you want to move around tight places. It'll actually decrease the turning radius of the coach if you're doing donuts. I know not a lot of us are doing donuts, but if you are, this will give you a tighter turning radius.
Looks like we have a similar setup in the wet bay as the Aspire as well.
This setup is identical to the Aspire, no differences at all. So we've got the place for your paper towel holder, your soap dispenser. I've got my macerator function here, my tank tilt to empty, which will actually, on your last dump of the trip, if you push that tilt, it's going to lift the passenger side of the coach about 3 inches so that all of the stuff that you don't want in those tanks is going to drain out completely. And then, of course, it's got the power hose reel there. And here's one of the differences that you're going to get in an Anthem versus an Aspire. If we move to that Aqua-Hot, an Anthem has a 450D Aqua-Hot. The Aspire has a 400D.
What's the difference?
So the difference is the same BTU heating capacity, but the 450D actually has an engine preheat loop. So I can do 2 things. One, instead of using the engine block heater that's 110, which will take 12 to 24 hours to heat that motor, I can actually heat the motor with the Aqua-Hot. It will heat it in about 60 to 90 minutes.
Wow.
So I know most of us are probably not going to use that because we get this motor home because if we know it's going to be 32 degrees or colder, where are we? Somewhere south.
Yeah.
Where it's not 32 degrees or more. But most people, what they'll use this for is you get free heat and hot water when you're driving down the road. There's actually a line that goes from the Aqua-Hot to the engine, and so it takes the radiator fluid and actually preheats the Aqua-Hot, so that coil is hot. So if I go inside, even if the Aqua-Hot is not on and I want to wash my hands, I'm going to get hot water.
Okay.
And if I turn the thermostat on, I'm actually going to get heat, even though the Aqua-Hot is not running, because that coil is hot from the engine.
Gotcha.
So that's the biggest benefit, is I'm going to get free heat and hot water when we drive down the road.
Yeah, I learned something new on that one. I never knew that.
You can see now my power storage tray will work this way as well. Come out either way. And on this side, it has the same nice feature where I can actually drop that down and pull my stuff out. That's just our Shark cordless vac there. And that's standard in the Aspire or the Anthem. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to have to look so I can stop this before it goes all the way through. And we can stop it there. And then this side is just, this other is the storage compartment is the opposite of that fridge freezer. Same on the Aspire, and this is where we're going to get that pre-plumbing for the water softener.
Gotcha.
So whether it's an Aspire, Anthem, or Cornerstone, they're all pre-plumbed for soft water. And this is also the power window awning out here. Hey, Nolan, I did notice as we're going around to go inside the coach, an Anthem also has the chrome mirrors. On an Aspire, this would just be, this is the only thing that would be chrome. These would be matte black. But here we've got the full chrome
just a nice little extra touch there.
Little extra touch.
Yep.
All right, welcome to the inside of this 44V Anthem. We'll talk about some of the differences here. So in our front cab area, in the Anthem, we have an 11 stereo speaker system by JBL. And in the Aspire, it only has 5 speakers. So you're going to get a better sound system here in that front cab area, which is kind of important. You know, a lot of motorhome companies don't focus on the sound system up front. They just put, you know, a Sony radio or whatever. We've got JBL speakers up here, because we want you to have a great experience when you're driving down the road. The other difference is in my front seats. In the Anthem, my seats are both heated and ventilated. So we know that's pretty nice. But now this is also an upgraded leather, but both of these seats, whether it be driver or passenger, are heated and ventilated. And those are controlled with this button right down here. So that's pretty nice to be able to do that. And this chair and the driver's chair are a little oversized. So for those people who are looking for more comfort, you know, I just sat in a super seat today. And that seat is so small in comparison to this seat that it's great to sit in this front seat with this IMAX view of America and be really comfortable when you're driving down the road.
It's like driving a lazy boy.
It is.
Yeah.
Then the other thing that we have that's different in an Anthem versus an Aspire is my power window shades. So if in Aspire your shades are broken, it's because your arm might be broken. In an Anthem, if the shades aren't working, it's not because your arm is broken, it's because there's a power issue. And those are far and few between, but you might have a shade motor that goes out, something like that, but they're easily repairable and we don't have many issues there. So it's just that convenient feature. Now what operates the shades is also a little different. Both of the coaches have the VegaTouch Firefly system, but in the Anthem, it's the Eclipse system. So VegaTouch kind of considers that maybe their global system, meaning if my coach is connected to the internet, I can operate any feature that I can do on the app on the wall with my phone. So I could be at Disneyland, maybe inside the park, and my coach is parked outside the park, and if that coach is using the Starlink, that comes as a standard feature, I could look in my coach and go, oh, it's kind of getting hot in there. I could turn the air conditioner down in an Anthem. In an Aspire, it's the local system, meaning it's operated by the app Mira, and it's a Bluetooth-based system only. So you've got to be within 30 feet of the coach. The only things I can't do on the Anthem remotely are put my slides in and out or my awnings in and out. I've got to be basically on the intranet of the coach to make that
makes
happen.
sense. It's a kind of a safety issue, too.
It is a safety issue.
Yeah, the cool thing I think about that is if you have your coach in storage and you're getting ready for a trip, how nice would it be to have the coach cooled off by the time you got to it?
Right. Yeah.
So when you're loading stuff into the refrigerator, putting clothes in there, you're not...
Yeah, you can just turn it on from wherever you are. Like I say, so long as you've got internet in the coach, you're good to go. All right. We're in the V, so our two most popular floor plans are the D and the V. People ask me about those all the time, and I say, what's the difference? Well, the fronts are very similar, except the V, in my opinion, has a better front end.
Okay. Why is that?
It has a better kitchen.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The D is a little smaller. I'm going to be missing this cabinet entirely in the D. And I don't have these 4 drawers. What I've got over there is just a pull-out pantry that's maybe about 6 inches wide, and then I'm missing this cabinet entirely. So I've got a better kitchen here. Now I do have some people who say, the motorhome has a kitchen?
Yeah.
Because they're eating out all the time.
Most people don't need it.
But other than the kitchen, the front ends are very similar. Same theater seats, same height of bed. But I do have a little bit more room here in the kitchen. The D has the better back end. Okay. So from the half bath back, I'm going to get, on this side of the bed, I'm going to get dual wraparounds. 3 inches on each side. So you can set your phone there. You've got a little more room there to make the bed. And then right now, in this V, I'm going to step up into the bathroom. Okay. In the D, I don't step up until I get all the way to the closet. It has that walk-in closet.
That's right.
Okay. So the V is a modified W. We basically changed the bathroom in the V to make it much more user-friendly, easier to get into, because in the W, this door was over here, so you kind of had to walk around, and you walked in and had the washer dryer right here. So we've redone this bathroom significantly better here, moving the washer dryer to the back.
Just kind of flows better.
Flows better. You don't have to walk around, and so it's a much better bathroom than the W, but you don't have that flush floor until you get to the closet.
Right. And I remember you said when we were doing our walkthrough a minute ago that, you know, one of the other things that we see as not necessarily an improvement, but just an added feature to the Anthem over the Aspire is the TVs are upgraded, right?
Yep. All the TVs are going to be 4K and I can't remember if they're QLED or OLED, whichever
Yeah,
whichever one is better. The Anthem has all 4 better TVs. The Aspire's TVs are all smart, but they're one step below.
Right.
And the mattress in an Anthem is also comes standard with the select number dual bladder air mattress.
Gotcha.
In the Aspire, it's just going to be the memory gel foam mattress.
Gotcha.
And then in the bathroom, if you look at the shower base in the Anthem, that is a solid surface shower base. In the Aspire, that would be a fiberglass shower base. In the Cornerstone, it would be tile.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then new for 26, and in this V floor plan is all floor plans except the R. You can get dual sinks or single sinks.
Yeah.
And we changed that in model year 26 to give you the option of single or double sinks.
Awesome.
So that's a big deal. So as you can see, there's a lot to talk about between an Aspire and an Anthem. And most of them are creature comforts. And so people who are looking for all the things that they want in their car, maybe, there's lots of people who buy Lincolns instead of Fords because they want all those bells and whistles. In the Anthem, you're going to get all those bells and whistles, and well, that's what a lot of people are looking for. Same chassis. You know, they're both K2s, meaning they both have the 9-liter 450 horsepower Cummins motor, but you are going to get those added features of the upgraded axle, the bigger tires,
upgraded Aqua-Hot,
and all those other things we talked about. So the money is certainly there, and the value is there in the Anthem. It's just whether or not you need any of those features or not.
You know, I've always said, you know, gosh, I've been selling these things for 7 years now, and I've always said that the Anthem, in my opinion, is probably the best bang for the buck in the Entegra product.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well, because it gives you all those features that you're looking for not a lot of added money. You know, it's probably somewhere in the $80,000, $90,000 price range is what you're going to really pay difference between an Aspire and an Anthem. Then if you want to go up to a Cornerstone, you're another $120,000 on top of that. And you get a bunch more things, and most of those differences in that Cornerstone are going to be chassis related. You know, it's motor, transmission, all those kinds of things. So anyway, that gives us all the great features about the Anthem here at Motorhome Specialists. So if you're looking for an Anthem, they've got them in stock, ready for you to come. You don't have to wait for one to show up. They're here. You can pick. They've got different floor plans, different colors, so you can come pick it out today, and you can probably take it home tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming in and walking us through the differences between an Aspire and an Anthem. And again, like Brian said, we have plenty of them here in stock. Feel free to reach out to us or check us out on our website, mhsrv.com. Thank you.